got blamed for everything. I had her full attention, her full love, though.
For my son, he was always there with me at all times. And I never feared that he would abandon me or leave me uncared for. That was a great feeling, and that was from heart to heart. Yes.
Mom has been more of a friend. She supported me in ways when I needed her advice. She's guided me through times when only mother's love can do that.
And before that, when he graduated from a school, high school and grammar school, and also when he graduated from college, they were all happy memories, and there was parties for all those occasions. And we had nice memories of all that. And then when he got engaged was another nice memory, and which we were all very happy and content.
When we first got married, it wasn't that big of a concern. She was in much better health. We always asked her for the holidays, and if there was any need for her to be with us, it was kind of, not that urgent. But as the years progressed, as she crossed her 80th birthday, the discussions increased. She wasn't as fast, and she had a couple of medical problems that she had to deal with, and we dealt with them. But every time we dealt with them, a little less was left. So you started to see slowly Mom becoming less and less comfortable, even though she never admitted, but she definitely had times when she was not the same person as a month or 2 months before.
Well, of course, since I had surgery on my knee, it's been had me back a little bit. But otherwise, I was usually able to keep going.
I nagged her. I told her, Mom, you really don't have to go through this. We are very, very worried. You're not exactly a young girl anymore, and you have a lot of situations that could be better. And why don't you come hang with us, as they say, hang out with us for a while, try and get comfortable here. And she always did come for the holidays. She got comfortable with her family, but then she couldn't wait to get back to her home.
Well, I'd be out a lot, then when I was mobile, and I had a lot of friends, there that we'd go sometimes to lunch, and we'd probably go to the park sometimes, and we'd go in different places. They were very nice. Enjoyed it.
Sadly, most of her friends passed on, all her acquaintances. So I think just not seeing on a daily basis all those stores or all the street, even though the stores changed and the faces changed, it was still First Avenue, Second Avenue, Third Avenue, Lexington Avenue. It was still certain streets that she could walk up to, and she remembered experiencing certain things there. That's the thing, that it won't be there for her. These are things that I can't match. And those were things that always were constant in her life. My wife has always supported me and always felt that my mom had a part in this home. And my mom has always felt that she didn't want to invade my wife's area because this is her home. So having a separate living area has managed to make everybody happy.
It's nice here too, but it's a different outlook. Very nice. And there's a nice garden in the back, and but for that part of it, the joy and happiness that here has no comparison to like New York, because you're never alone here. You're happy. There's some of the family with you all the time, more or less, and that's a great feeling.
That's my biggest concern, that she may think this is the end of a path. Well, it's actually the beginning. She's going to be exploring new areas in developing of my children and have an opportunity to see things here that she may not have. She's been part of our lives, but that's hard to explain, I guess. She's not giving up her permanent home, but she is getting an option to spend a little bit more time at her call. How many more days instead of just a holiday she wants to come here. That's where we're at right now. Eventually, we'll increase those days. We'll increase the time so that she will be more comfortable here and slowly, hopefully, let go of her old, I should say her home in Manhattan.
Well, I felt it was a nice feeling to know that you're wanted and that you're loved, and that made me a very happy feeling.
Well, if God willing her health stays good, I think she'll figure out a way to accept this home. I think she loves her grandchildren and my wife that much more that she'll let go of Manhattan. But I think it's going to be it's not going to happen overnight. I think the biggest challenge for her is to believe that she can be happy here as she is there. But what I really wanted to say is that people don't realize that what we do now comes around. So if I take care of my mom, I would hope that my children would give me the same treatment. So that's what I hope I give my mother.
Sarah Sadin is the director of the Partnership for Elder Care, a program of New York City's Department for the Aging. Howard Krooks is a partner in the law firm of Littman, Krooks & Roth in Manhattan and Westchester, and an experienced elder law attorney. Welcome, both of you. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Sarah, first of all, tell us what the Partnership for Elder Care is.
Partnership is a unique program. It's a model program because we are a not-for-profit corporate elder care service. We provide services for caregivers who happen to be employees as well. Seminars, counseling, information and referral, everything they need to find help for a family member anywhere in the country.
And Howard, who are your clients as an elder law attorney?
Well, our clients are people who are in the community and find themselves in circumstances where they don't know where to turn in terms of the care that they need. They find themselves in difficult circumstances financially. They're confronted by hospitals who are pressuring them to make discharges to nursing homes that are far away, and they're concerned that they're going to have to visit their relatives very far away. They're confronted with the thought that they may lose their home and much of their financial resources. And those are people that come to me for assistance.
It's a pretty wide gamut of issues that you deal with. Now, we just met John and Bridget. What issues come up for you as you listen to their stories?
Well, first of all, this is a very loving, wonderful family. A son who is very devoted to his mother, and a mother who understands that and doesn't fear for her care in the future. I think the problem in particular is that Bridget's facing a lot of losses as it is. You know, there's a discussion of losses of friends, and I think she's terrified of losing her home. And I think that her loving son really has to understand that she may not be ready to give up that home, and she's still capable of making those decisions.
Yeah, so you still sense that the discussion really has to continue.
Exactly, exactly.
Howard, what happens? Here John is the only child, and he can unilaterally or he can speak directly to Bridget. What happens when there are siblings and they don't all agree? How does that complicate the issue?
That can become very problematic. In the clip that you showed, it is just John, and John can act unilaterally and make decisions with his mom as long as she has the capacity to participate in that decision-making process. Once you bring in siblings, you've got issues where there are conflicted siblings, one who wants to make sure that mom simply gets the care that she needs, and another who is more concerned that the assets are preserved and will do whatever it takes to preserve those assets, even if it may mean that the care that mom gets is not perhaps the best care.
That may happen, right?
It happens all the time, unfortunately.
Now, when that happens, what do you recommend? What do they do? Should they get an arbitrator or something?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes they need the help of a professional.
Professional what? A
professional attorney, a geriatric care manager who can come in and sometimes help the family sort through some of the issues, clarify some of the issues. Sometimes it helps to have a religious person involved, if you know, a priest, a rabbi, someone who's been involved with the family before, who can step in and let you step back a little bit from what's going on, because families have a lot of history, and that's going to come to the surface.
And a lot of roles that people play.
Absolutely, and that comes to the surface when you have a crisis.
Do you find that when people start speaking about these issues early, that it avoids a lot of problems?
Well, the earlier you start, the better off you're going to be. There's no question about that, because they're difficult enough issues to deal with as it is, but if you throw into the mix the pressure of an elderly person going through a decline in health and the financial pressures with how to pay for that ongoing care, along with these many years of conflict, it's more difficult to deal with while everything's happening at once versus trying to get things out on the table before the decline in health occurs, however difficult that may be to get people to start thinking in advance.
Where exactly can you start? At what point can you start the conversation?
I think you can start the conversation when people are not at their worst, okay? You hope that as a family, and every family is different and every family has their issues and their concerns, but you hope as a family that, I hope my children start talking to me about it before it becomes a crisis, when you can be calm. And none of us likes to talk about these issues.
Well, like John said, you know, it gives you the sense, it gives the older relative the sense that this is the end of the road, perhaps sometimes.
Exactly.
Right.
But isn't it better to then do it when it doesn't appear to be the end of the road?
Really. Okay, we'll be right back. But first, let me just say that there's more information on our website at 13.org. And here are some of the places where you can start with a phone call.
Here are some of the places where you can find help with elder care issues. Children of Aging Parents, a grassroots organization that can provide information, resources, and referrals for children who help their aging parents. Call them at 1-800-277-7294. The AARP Driver Safety Program. To find a refresher driving program in your area, call 1-800-227-7669. The American Bar Association. The association's lawyer referral service can help you find a lawyer near you who is knowledgeable about elder law. Call them at 1-312-988-5522. If you have access to the web, log on to 13's website at 13.org and go to New York Voices Health Specials for links to these sources and more.
We're back now with Sarah Sadin and Howard Krooks. Now, Howard, what kind of information about our parents or older relatives do we need to have ready at hand?
What we recommend to our clients is that they fill out a form, which we distribute through our office, which contains information pertaining to doctors, ongoing medical care, accountants, lawyers. Where is your will being held? Do you have a safe deposit box? If so, at what bank? This is a list of my bank accounts, and this is where I keep my statements. Here's where the key is to my safe deposit box, etc. All of that information, who is your broker? If you have all of that in one place, and your family members know that you keep that sheet of paper in a certain drawer, in a certain desk, in a certain room in your house, when the event occurs that you least want to happen, they're going to know exactly where to go and who to contact at a moment's notice.
I can just imagine how much aggravated the crisis would be when you can't find these things. And it's such a simple thing to do ahead of time.
I can't tell you how many clients come to me and say, I have no idea where mom's assets are. I have no idea where to turn. Can you help me?
And Sarah, what are some of the documents or ideas that we should talk about with our elder relatives?
I think we should talk about health care, how they'd like to be cared for, and think about some of those issues. I think certainly you need a discussion of finances, which is uncomfortable even in families, but you need to know, and your parents or older relatives need to know that some planning should take place
How about a living will?
Aging. Living will, healthcare proxy, all of those things would be wonderful, but they're very difficult. People do not want to think about those kinds of issues. We actually have compiled just one sheet of paper in which we send out to families and say, go through this with your family and see where are these things available? Can you get these things done, accomplished, so that you have them at hand, or at least know where they are.
And that's the City Department on the Aging.
It's from, you can get, actually the Department for the Aging has a wonderful booklet, which is a health record that you can stick right up on your refrigerator. And if you call the New York City Department for the Aging, they have those available. And they're wonderful to have in case a health emergency occurs.
And we're talking about a will as
Right.
well. And
Right.
now, the problem with this, of course, is, as you say, it's so difficult because when we mentioned earlier, it was you don't want